Allie Thompson, I am so excited. You know how excited I am?
How excited are you?
I... sorry. I know people, not everybody can see this, but if you're
Is that why you
listening,
wanted to do the intro?
yes, this is exactly why I wanted to do the intro. I got my DJ Airhorn app here, and I've been using it. I've frankly been overusing it, and
You
for
think?
those, and my whole family wants to kill me, but it's been fun. That's what it's all about, right? Having some fun. So, my name, for those of you that are here for the first time, is Duncan, and
My name is Allie.
we have a podcast and a bunch of other cool stuff like a Facebook group, and it's all dedicated to marketing, right? Marketing for local small business owners. We are both marketing nerds. I can call you a nerd, right?
I am happy to wear that label. Yes.
Perfect. I'm glad. I'm glad to have a fellow marketing nerd with me here today. So this podcast, what we like to do, we've been mixing it up lately, but kind of the core of this show, we actually come up with a fake business and decide how we would market, promote, advertise, and grow this local business. So today, it is my turn to come up with a business, and we go back and forth and we do a fun business, boring business. Today is my turn for a boring business. And the fun part about that, there's a lot of fun parts, but the most fun part for me is that you have no idea what I'm going to bring up.
I have no
So
idea other
it's
than you said it's the most boring business on the planet.
it's not only boring, it's boring and repetitive and kind of gross and
Ooh, gross.
maybe like loud, maybe a little bit sweaty. You got any ideas? What are you thinking?
Um, it makes me think fitness, but I don't think that is that boring.
Nope, not fitness. That's not boring enough. We need something boring, smelly, repetitive, municipal. To throw another word
Ah,
at.
is it sewer
Oh, we're
something?
getting close. We're getting close. All right. So today, Allie, I'll
Are we
just
septic cleaners?
no. Oh, that's really gross. Yeah, that's like our gross business episode. Today, Allie Thompson, we are going to start a trash collecting business. We are going to be picking up trash for everyone in the city, house to house to house, scoop up the can, dump it in the truck. Every single house in a city, millions of people over and over again. The most boring business that I can think of. What do you think about that?
I think this is a very interesting challenge.
Okay.
Uh, and I think it's interesting that you brought it up because up north, we actually have a choice of companies to choose from. So there are actually trash collection companies.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, it's the county.
Yep.
So, like, you don't pay for trash collection, it's just the county picking up trash. So, are you looking at, I mean, I'm assuming that we're starting a trash collection business where we are competing with other trash collectors of whether or not they are hiring us or somebody else.
That's exactly correct. It's a local trash collection business. We are competing with other local trash collectors. And I think the thing to remember about down here as well is like that started as a local business and they got the contract from the city. So I think
Hmm.
that that's like a I feel like if you're just the best one, you could kick all the other guys out and say like we're going to do it for everybody, right? That's what I want. I want to be so good at this that we beat out all the other trash guys in our local area and become the city trash collector. That's like my long-term business plan, and I think that we can make an interesting, fun, I don't know, yeah, fun. I want to have a fun trash collecting business. That's what I'm thinking I want to do today. So where should we start, Allie? And before we start,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yes.
heard about a guy that started a trash collecting business. So I have a little bit of an unfair advantage. He's doing a lot of things that I'm going to bring up today on this podcast that I was like, I've never heard of anything like this for trash collecting. I don't even think about trash until I realized the morning of that I forgot to take the trash out and I'm like running to get it out to the street. Like that's the only time I think about my trash collecting services for my city. And I think that there is a really unique opportunity there to make something that people actually think about in a positive way and want to interact with. So that's kind of why I picked this. It's like take something that's boring and an afterthought and turn it into something that's really fun and interesting, and to use the most boring word ever, unique. So
Yes, we had a conversation about that word. That's a wash your mouth out swear jar
yeah,
word
yeah.
that we have to put money in a swear jar every time we say unique. Okay, so I mean, the first thing I think of when I think fun trash collector, um, and I don't, it's a little, it's fun, I guess, is them attaching the stuffed animals to the fronts of their trucks.
Yeah.
It's also a little bit morbid.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
That's
like
what I was thinking. It's like, ooh.
teddy bears like flapping in the wind and they have it on the front of their truck. So I think that's kind of like an organic way where the trash collectors themselves are trying to have a little bit of fun between them. Like it's something that they're doing. Picked up the trash. This teddy bear was there. Let's strap the teddy bear in the top front of the truck.
Hmm.
Um, I think that is great. I'm also thinking about sometimes I've seen like a little bit of showmanship with the trash collectors. Like it can be fun to watch certain people collecting the trash because they're either just very slick, you know what I mean? Like they just move their bodies in a way that you're like, well, look at him, he's just grabbing it and doing it like one movement and all of that.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. I think I have the solution, Duncan.
Okay.
And it's the answer that answers all questions.
Is it shirtless trash
It's
collectors?
shirtless trash collectors.
Oh no.
It's always the answer. Whatever the question is, just take off shirts, male or female,
Well,
and we have solved the problem.
here's the problem with that. I like shirtless trash collecting. Don't get me wrong. I think that that is definitely an angle that we could take, but there's also the family friendly, fun, you know,
No,
safe for kids trash collectors.
they're
Well,
coming
think
in
about
the
it.
middle of the day. That's mama's time.
Think about it though. Like, when have you have kids? So did you ever have a point in time where it was like summertime and the kids got excited when the trash truck was coming down the road because they wanted to see the thing get picked up and put in the thing?
Yeah,
I was never that kid, but like, you know, that
yeah.
thing exists.
But
And
see,
I
a little bit for the kids, a little bit for the mom. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you gotta hit both of those demographics for sure. Yeah.
Follow me here.
Okay,
Follow
go
me here. You got the overalls, right?
ahead. Hmm.
You got to do the whole like overalls off and like hanging down around the hips. It's got to be a whole aesthetic. That is the uniform.
Oh
It is the
man.
overalls, but the top part of the overalls have not been put on yet. That's the theme of the aesthetic we're going for here.
I like it. Again, don't get me wrong. I think it's a fantastic marketing idea. I feel like we've done, what have we done so far? We did topless carpet cleaning. We
Yep.
did hot guy landscaping. We can't, it's like a crutch at this point. We can't
No,
do
it's
hot
not a
guy trash
crutch. It
collector.
just works. Like, don't reinvent the wheel, Duncan.
Okay, okay.
You
How
have
about
a strategy that works.
how about slightly hot trash collectors, but also I want to do something like, we were talking recently about the taco tour business and
Mhm.
having the people drive around a giant taco. I feel
Yep.
like there is a world where we could have the trash collecting trucks be some sort of gigantic monster, like a friendly monster that picks up and eats the trash. Like, that would kind of hit that side of things for the
I
kids. And then,
yes.
yeah. So that's kind of where I'm headed. It's like, make the experience more fun in the ways that it is already fun. It's like you're just taking something and taking it to the next level, adding a little bit of showmanship. So I'll give you your overalls if you will allow me to have my giant
Overall.
monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so I will concede with at least tight shirts and the trash collectors can dance.
Sure. Yep.
Then we can pass it off as family friendly.
Ooh, you know what? We can do, like, it's like an ice cream truck, but they're not selling ice cream, but it plays music as it comes through the neighborhood. Ooh.
Music would be fantastic. So I think all of this. So what is the thing? Like trash trucks stink, right? So they
Yeah.
stink. So
Yep.
how do we engage the other senses to make this not a stinky thing that's happening?
Yeah.
You mentioned the monster, like the truck is a monster eating. I think that's way better than my idea, but I like the idea of, we're looking at something that's dirty and messy and all of that. And I would maybe hire artists to paint murals onto the trash truck where we've got color and brightness and all of these fun things happening there. Sorry if you hear the dog nail clicking. The dogs
never apologize for puppies. Puppies are the best.
They're in, they're out, they're anyhow. So maybe hire local artists to paint. You could have even some kind of themes for your local area. So down here, it would be things like alligators and dolphins and beach and palm trees and the whole trash can. You've got this giant green canvas, and it's just the company name on it and a couple of like warning stickers that they're supposed to have on there.
Yep.
Like bring the fun, bring the interaction. Definitely making it look like something like the monster eating the trash is so good. It's so good. And you could have maybe kids design monsters and then artists then
turn the truck into those monsters.
Yeah, you give them like a blank sheet of paper with the outline of a dump truck on it and how the trash goes in. So this is the mouth. Now you design the monster that's eating the trash.
Yes.
And then do competitions to put those on the side of the trash.
Such a great way to do that. Like get into a new neighborhood too, right? Like if you're talking about, you have some people in the neighborhood and you're trying to like convert everybody else over, you just put like literal mailers with that piece of paper and like design our garbage truck. Your kid's design of their monster could be this truck rolling through your neighborhood eating the trash. That's huge. That's huge.
I love that. I love that so much. Because then the kids are even more excited to see the trash truck. And the kids will call you out as a parent of why isn't the monster eating our trash?
Yes.
Oh, I love that so much. Like I want the monster to eat our trash, Mommy. Why can't we have the monster eat our trash? And then the parents just gotta be like, all right. Fine,
yeah, and it's that same concept we've been bringing up multiple times recently of like, if you can bring me closer to my kids, I will give you whatever amount of money that I can give you, right? It's like you can't put a price on a kid's smile, right? It's like make the kid happy, instant winner. And I think that would be probably how I would get into other neighborhoods primarily, is doing that, some sort of competition like that. But it goes so far because these would be like, I might even have one truck that's a garbage truck designed that doesn't go collect trash that I would then put at events, and I would put in the parade. I would put in the local whatever.
The parade is so smart.
Yeah, and people would like ride on the truck and like you turn it into a float, right? And oh man, so many interesting ideas with something that is potentially so visual like that. Like you said, it's a huge blank canvas.
Big. It's and it's big.
Yes.
And so I was then thinking, all right, the whole mommy, why isn't the monster eating our trash? Go to schools. There's always opportunities for local businesses to speak to kids in schools or have, you could have a field trip, but I don't know if you want a field trip to the dump. Maybe we could talk about, did you?
Yeah, we went to waste management and they like talked about how, they process the different recycling and garbage. And back then it wasn't as sophisticated as it is now, but now it's actually the only like interesting fact about our waste management. It's the only like carbon neutral place because they burn the stuff that they can't recycle and they use that energy to fuel the entire facility. So it's like
I love that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I love that. Okay, so we'll get into education here in a bit because I think that's huge. I knew of the dump. We have a dump, and I knew the dump because my dad took me to the dump because he had to go to the dump. So I'd always be like, "We're going to the dump!" Like it was so exciting to go to the dump. Okay, so I think having either the kids come or going to the school, bringing the trash truck to the schools and showing, having the kids come out and take their picture around it. I think that would be really cool. And then I love the idea of floats and events, any kind of carnivals, even like the local farmers market, find a weekend where you can go park the truck down there. And you're right, like something that's not stinky, something that's not used at all. It's kind of the plain one.
It's the mascot.
Yeah. So then let's talk about music. So if we're going to use my tight shirt guys that dance, they're going to have Tim's in the room now. So we have abandoned the shirtless trash collector. They will have shirts. But
Shirts and
nice.
overalls that are unbuttoned at the top, right? Is that we're still doing that?
Well, we could still do the overalls hanging down. But they got shirts on it.
Tight shirts. Okay.
Yeah. We'll allow shirts.
And we'll do, I think we should do, sorry to interrupt. I think we should do like, Monster Mash definitely is a song. We got to license that. Anything that has to do with monsters or garbage, I feel like there's an opportunity there for us to license those and use them as our like theme song.
And I would flip to the other like other side of like shiny happy people. Something that's like over the top, sun shining.
Yeah.
And like
super
bright.
Clean. Yeah.
It's like clean, bright songs as well.
Sure.
And you could kind of go through them with around Halloween time is when there's the Monster Mash and all of those sorts of things. And then other times a year, depending on the time of year, I mean, you could definitely do Christmas carols. I think they should do like strictly the Mariah Carey song the entire time. And it's kind of be a joke that and then the guys are wearing their Santa hats.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And nothing else.
Yeah, I feel like this is just going to be, it's the answer to every business is just like take your shirt off and it will be fine.
Yes, exactly. Women are the primary consumers in the marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give the ladies what they want.
It works even it works on so many levels. There's that ad that I showed in the Marketing Power Hour call where it was a naked guy and he was selling like graphic design services, right? It was like a close up on his face and he's like, I'm here to tell you the naked truth. And it zoomed out and he was sitting naked in a chair, 100% naked, just like blurred out. And you're like, I'm booking a call with this company just to tell them that their ad is crazy. And that's what I did. I was like, hey, I saw your ad. Fantastic job. Like, so I think it works on so many levels, just take your shirt off, get naked, you'll get customers.
Exactly.
That's our professional advice.
Yes. Think of your business. Now think of it shirtless. Automatic improvement.
Yeah.
Okay. So I like that. I like the music. I like that the guys have, and it can be ladies too, dancing and being almost like having a choreography and a fun way that they're doing things. And I think what it does is it takes also a job that's kind of miserable. Who wants to be a trash collector? I mean, that's kind of one of those jobs that we look at as like, man, that would be the worst job in the world. Is you're out there up north, you're out there in the cold, you're out there in the heat, the truck smells. But we always like when we're driving around down here and we get stuck behind a trash collector, they're always super nice and friendly and letting us know, hey, somebody's coming, or now you can come around. And I'm always like, oh, look at that. And the other day, Tim, we were watching this guy put the trash in the back of the truck. And Tim's like, man, that guy just needs to have a little hitch in his giddy up or something like that. He just looks depressed. I'm like, well, he's a trash collector. I don't know that he's having that great of a time. But we did notice that like he didn't seem happy. He's collecting our trash and he seemed very unhappy about it. So if you give them almost kind of an entertainment label, right? You're not just a trash collector, you're entertaining the neighborhood. And that's part of the job of what you're doing as a trash collector. So when you're going, you're putting a little, and having the music there in the first place, just give them the reason to just move differently and act differently and have a different state of mind. And then adding that bit of showmanship, I think makes everybody's life happier than just being, gotta get the garbage.
Yep. No, I agree. I think it's, I think that, we've talked about internal and external marketing objectives before. And one of the main internal ones is building, as far as I'm concerned, is like building a good company culture in a place where people enjoy working, so that when they go out and talk about your business to other people, those people get a good impression of that business as well. And there's a lot of things you can do for that. Like you can pay well, right? So like garbage collectors here, they get pretty decent wages because it's acknowledged that it's kind of a crappy job, and they get pretty good benefits as far as I'm concerned, especially here because it's a county thing. So there's something to be said for that. So it's like pay people well, give them good benefits, and I would say even pay them even more well if you're going to be using them as the primary
Mhm.
um, marketing angle for your company. It's like it's not a regular trash collector job at that point. You're expecting them to perform, and they need to be paid accordingly. But I think the amount of business that you're going to get for that would make it worth it, right? It's an investment in your marketing, right? You, instead of paying, and well, obviously you're probably going to do some ads too, but in addition to paying for ads, you're like literally paying these guys to be out there advertising your business for
Yep.
you out there
Yep.
in the community. So yep.
Yeah, because you're literally visible every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yep.
You're driving around a billboard essentially. And how else am I going to differentiate between trash companies? And
Mhm.
that's the biggest issue here, right? I literally don't know when we're going to be moving back up north. We're going to have to hire a trash company. We'll probably look at the trash cans that are already on the property and just call one of those because I don't know. I don't know who I should be calling for. Like, I have no reason to think that one is better than the other. If I'm going to do anything, I'm going to shop around on price because it's just trash collection.
Yep.
So and we talked about this the other day that when everybody is playing this game over here and they're competing on price and you have a commodity, then you need to be competing over here on something that is completely an open field because nobody else has even thought to compete in that way.
Yep.
And that's when you just get this market saturation where everybody in town is like, that one, those are the guys that I'm hiring. Um, because they're playing a different game. They're playing an absolutely different game than what everybody else is. And I think it's essential in this business.
Yeah, and I think the an important distinction there is like everybody else is competing over here, so compete over here. It's not even a competition over
Yeah,
here.
no, it's
It's
not.
like there isn't anybody else doing it that way usually in your niche in your area because it's uncommon. Like most businesses are just buttoned up, straight laced business, and they're competing on price. It's like a race to the bottom price in a lot of industries. So how do you number one, stand out and differentiate, and two, maintain profitable pricing, right? Like I see that in my industry all the time. It's like people are more and more people are getting into photo and video every day because it's cheaper and cheaper to buy cameras, and to learn they're willing to offer things for next to nothing, right? It's like they're making at the end of the day less than minimum wage to build a portfolio or to gain experience, and I'm not competing with them because they're not me. Like the thing that they're missing is me. Like I have a personal brand business. So it's like I don't even consider them competition, even if their work, I've seen some of their work. It's incredible, but like they're not direct competition with me because we are completely different things. So
Right.
yep.
Yeah, and when you differentiate yourself in that way, I think the worst position any business can be in, and I love how you said you're not actually in competition, because the worst business you can be in is always watching your competitors and trying to match up or beat your competitors.
Mm,
And that's what I've talked a lot about when I talk about Facebook marketing, and I talk about like Facebook groups, and somebody posts in the Facebook group and says, I'm looking for an AC contractor, and all the people respond with an AC contractor. That is like a piranha feeding frenzy, right? All those AC contractors are trying to snipe each other. And I'm not saying not to be visible in that game. Sure, be visible in that game, but play the game differently. Don't try to sell people, ask them what their problems are, etc. But also, if you can get them on your social media because you shared a video that is, informative and kind of like exposed a secret in the industry that nobody else is talking about, then when that person comes time to buy, they're not even posting to the Facebook group.
Yep.
You're not even bothering to ask there because you're already the decision.
Yep.
So when you do something like this, if you have trash trucks that are colorful and fun, and you have music, and you have guys dancing, and you have all of that, and somebody new comes to the neighborhood, even if they have to ask, like, hey, who should we have, everybody's going to say that company.
Hmm.
Who's not going to say that company? And
Hmm.
so now they don't even have to open up yellow pages again, old. They don't even have to open up Google and look around for stuff. And who do you think is going to get more reviews?
Mm.
The company with the brightly colored trucks and the guys that are dancing?
Yep.
That inspires reviews. So all of a sudden, you're just not even competing anymore.
Yep.
You're just owning the field. And then
Hmm.
everybody else is playing their competition game. And as long as you just own your field, I think that's the most valuable position you can have in a marketplace. And there was a guy in our Facebook group the other day. I can't remember who exactly said it, but he said, so what I'm understanding with Facebook is you don't really want to hire that out because you've got to be you and nobody else can be you like you.
Hmm.
And that's with your marketing. You've got to be you because nobody else can be that, like you were saying. Nobody else can be Duncan. Nobody else can be me, right?
Yep.
I have competitors in my space, but I own my section of it because they literally can't be me.
Yep.
And I can't be them. So it's not even a matter of competition.
Yeah, it's so important. Like I just had a meeting. I'm gonna post about this in the group too, with a guy who has a what is it? It's like a junk removal business, and it's the same thing, right? It's like a commodity. There's a zillion junk removal businesses, and he was asking me what he thought what I thought he should do about trying to stand out. And I'm like, look, man, the biggest differentiator right now is like sitting right in front of me. Like it's you. You are your own boss. You're living that entrepreneur lifestyle. You've set out on your own. You've done away with the 9 to 5 thing, and like that is an inspirational story in and of itself that people want to get behind and want to support. So just like do that in public. Just like be you living that life on the internet in front of people, and it will attract people. None of those other, I can almost guarantee, none of those other junk collecting businesses are doing that. And like the main thing that they're using to differentiate, and it's not really even a differentiator, is that they probably have a bunch of cash because they've been around for a long time and have a lot of cash flow, a lot of revenue to put into Google ads, to put into different paid ad platforms. And you can brute force your way to customers by doing that if you have enough money, but it is nowhere near as effective as it is if you're willing to be the face of your business and do that, build in public kind of thing that we're talking about. So that's it's just so true. And I think that's like one of the most important takeaways from most of these episodes is like you just gotta do the thing. You just gotta do the thing, commit to the bit. So
Yes.
yeah.
And what did you just say right there about, everybody else can run the ads and he can just be him? Oh, I was going to say, so everybody always says, I want word of mouth. We're doing great with word of mouth. But they don't have a plan for how to get word of mouth.
Yeah.
They're just like, I'll show up and have excellent service. And that's the most boring, benign, and just everyday expected way to be. Like you show up and give good service as you are supposed to do. That's bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we get more referrals, more word of mouth when we are outrageous, when we are extraordinary. Extraordinary means extra over ordinary, right? It's not ordinary. So good service is ordinary. You've got to be extraordinary. So that's when people talk, right? When there's a crazy football commercial during the football game, that game all the people are playing during the Super Bowl, when there's a crazy commercial, everybody talks about it, right? Because it was extraordinary. It was beyond the ordinary. And so if you want to be talked about and you want word of mouth for your business, then you have to deserve it. You have to do things that make people talk like, oh my gosh, did you see this? And I want everybody listening here to imagine that you have this trash collection business in your neighborhood. Are you not talking about it? Are you not going to talk to your neighbors about it? Are you and your kids not having a conversation? Are you not talking about it at work? Like, who is not going to talk about the fact that the truck is all colored in multicolors and the guys are dancing with tight shirts and there's music playing and who's not going to talk about that?
Yeah, it's impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
That keeps coming up, and like I love that, because it's like it's not wishy-washy. It's like, oh yeah, we want to stand out and get more eyeballs on our business, and we want more people to know about us. It's like, no, you want literally to be impossible for them to not say something about you. It's like if you walk by or they see your business doing its thing and it's forgettable, it's like, okay, moving on to
Yep.
the next one. There's no difference between you and the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. So just be literally impossible to not talk about, and that will take you further than any other local business in your niche, in your area. So,
And
and that
so
can be, I've even seen it work like negatively, right? Like there's that whole, and I wouldn't recommend it, that whole thing of like, there's no such thing as bad press. There are businesses that will say, like, if you're a Democrat, don't shop here because that's not our kind of people. Or if you're a Republican, whatever. That wouldn't work down here because it's like mostly right wing. But there are ways that you can stir up drama and cause your business to be impossible to ignore, that will bring in more business that can be perceived as negative by one side or the other. Very polarizing, like that gun giveaway that the roofing company did. I loved that. It's like, I don't care how you feel about guns. They gave away a turkey and a gun for Thanksgiving, for the month of November, for anybody that bought a new roof. And I was like, this is amazing. It's like, people that don't like guns aren't going to like it, but everybody that does, it's like they're impossible to ignore. Got picked up by local TV without them asking. Like, they got free PR because of being impossible to ignore. So
yeah, and I see businesses spend a lot of time and money and effort trying to get the logo and just the right name and just the right colors and shirts for everybody. And everybody has a mug and a pen with the logo and the name on it. And they
are you
spend
making fun of my shirt and my hat that I'm currently wearing sitting in front of you right now?
They spend all this time on swag and logos and etc. Do you know what my logo is, Duncan?
Bam. That's a good shirt. Bam.
It is fine. It's a
Wait.
fine
No,
shirt.
marketing. Look. It says film crew on the back. You know how many leads I've gotten from just this, walking around with this shirt? A lot.
But that is more than what I was just talking about, though,
I
because
know.
if it didn't say it on the back, who cares about the front, right?
True. That's why I put
And
it on
I'm
there.
not saying, so I'm not saying any of that swag is not useful, right?
Yes.
It is for consistency in your branding and all of that. But so many people like stay vanilla and they want to look professional and they want to have the right colors and they think everybody's going to be impressed by their colors and their
Mm,
name and their logo and all of this,
mm-mm.
when that's not what's driving sales.
Nope.
Like, that stuff is important for other reasons. It's not for making you sales. And then they play it safe across the board. And then they come to somebody like me or you and say, what can I do to stand out? You know,
Mm.
this comes up in my handmade business all the time. They'll come to me with the most boring, everyday item. There's no differentiation to it whatsoever. You wouldn't even notice it if it was laying on a table. Like, it's just a
Yep.
boring product. And they say, how do I sell more of this?
Hmm.
And I'm like, make it better. Make it less boring. Make
Get
it
good.
interesting. Yeah, get good. And so it's not about trying to shoehorn a bad business a bad business model into a good marketing strategy, right? It's not about forcing people to buy from you when they're really not interested in buying. It's creating a product and a service that is impossible to ignore, that catches attention, that's extraordinary, and making it inevitable that they're going to buy from you because it's just impossible to ignore. And if you have their attention, you've got money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I love the little tangents that we go on. They have a lot of good nuggets in them. Let's get back to trash though, because that's what we're here for. Let's get back on track, Allie Thompson. So we
was
got hot guys
always
dancing.
doing trash.
We got hot guys dancing in tight shirts. We got brightly colored trash monster trucks that are eating the garbage. We have a competition for all the kids in the local area to decorate the trucks. I feel like we're ticking a lot of boxes. This is like I we do this a lot where it's like I feel like we're good. I don't know where to go from here. It's like this is an amazing business already. So what's next?
So I would say next, you mentioned about when you were a kid and you went to the waste treatment section.
Mhm.
Now, like up north, I think they just all go to the dump. I don't know if there's like, I don't know what they do with the stuff they have. I don't. That's what happened when I was a kid. They might have like evolved from there. But people are environmentally conscious. A certain demographic of people definitely feel guilty, like raising my hand, feel guilty of the amount of trash that I am throwing away because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm just being wasteful and I'm polluting the earth. And so when you said that the treatment facility here actually burns the waste and reuses it to power the facility, I had just a big sigh of relief. Like it made me feel better that I wasn't like killing sea turtles with plastic straws and
Oh, don't get me wrong. We're still killing them. We're
oh,
just killing them less.
I know,
Yeah.
but like our county is not doing as badly
Yeah. Yeah.
as what could be happening. I mean, we
That's a
have a
whole that's a
trash
whole other show.
in
Yeah,
Missouri
we
County.
could do a whole other show on like what our county is doing wrong, but don't get me started on that. But that is a good one. It's a
That's a
one.
good one. I was shocked that
Yeah.
that was the case.
I was shocked when I heard it too. It was actually at a no, it wasn't at a networking thing. It was at a community engagement. It was teaching you how to be more involved with your community. And I went to, if I'm being honest, I went to two of the meetings and then I got busy and didn't go to the rest of them. So I didn't learn anything. It was about how to
Yeah,
be
just engaging
civically,
with the community,
yeah.
that feels like work.
It was like a civic engagement course or something like that. And then I was not civically engaged. I felt really bad.
Did
But
they not engage you? I'm curious. Was it
it,
because you were not engaged during the presentations?
yeah, I mean, the one with the trash lady was good. She was the one that they do the adopt a road program and like a couple other things that were really cool. And she said that fact about the Lee County, the waste treatment place, and it seemed like they have a PR problem, right? It's like doesn't it all just go to the dump? I feel bad about killing the sea turtles and all the trash that I create, and I feel like they're just from a marketing perspective, there's a lot of opportunity there for them to turn that kind of perception around. But they're doing it right now in kind of like a 1-to-1 ratio. Like that lady was going out and speaking to these different groups where maybe like not 1-to-1, but there's like 10-15 people in that group, whereas the story, that the fact that it's like they burn it and it powers the whole facility, I had no idea. And I've lived here pretty much my entire life, and I even went there on a field trip and I didn't maybe remember it, or they weren't doing it then. And it's like getting that message out to literally everybody via whatever, social media, blogs, whatever, press releases. I think it's like a huge missed opportunity for them from a marketing perspective, because the perception is just like what you said. It's like it just all goes to the dump. There's even like a theory that it all goes out on a barge and then the Gulf and gets burned. And it's like that came from they actually do burn it, but they use that to create the energy. So there's a lot of weird misconceptions about it, and they need some PR and marketing help themselves. So
Yeah, because I've thought about it. I'm like,
yeah,
where does my trash here go? I know
yeah,
where it goes up north. I don't know where it goes down here. I have no idea. They just pick it up and it
yeah.
goes away. Also very curious on where the green stuff goes. But we can talk about that later. But I think this is an opportunity for Duncan, because this would be, and this is what I would do for our trash company, but you could do it for this company as well. We had a guy in Sandusky that did these just short, maybe 10-minute little documentaries about interesting people in town.
Mhm.
And there's this one guy who has dyslexia, and he likes to go and he talks about his dyslexia and how he struggled in school. But now it's like his biggest superpower because he goes to these old homes and old barns and whatever. And when they're being taken down, he reclaims the molding and he reclaims all these cool fixtures and he resells them. And then he did his whole house in all of this reclaimed stuff. And he did it in really weird and interesting ways. I should send it to you because it's super interesting. But I wouldn't have known that. I knew who he was because he went to school with my brother. So I knew who he was, but I didn't know any of that story. But they did a really cool little documentary about him, and it got passed all around in all the groups and people tagging people and people sharing it. I showed it to my kids because my youngest has dyslexia. I'm like, watch this. This is really, really great. So I think that they need a little bit of production value here,
Mhm.
Duncan,
You're damn right
with,
they do.
with a really good videographer, if you know one,
Yeah.
uh, and tell the story and make it visually interesting and
Mhm.
engaging, and not just a lady standing in front of the camera and say, "Here at Lee County, we take the environment very serious." Like that's just snooze fest. But like, start off with the question everybody has: have you ever wondered what happens to the Lee County trash? Have you ever wondered what happens to the trash that you take out to the curb? You
Mhm.
know, is it being dumped into the Gulf of Mexico? Is it, here's what is really happening. If you live in Lee County, Florida, like this is what is actually happening to your trash, and like show the process and
Yes.
make it almost like a little mini film about what happens to the trash in Lee
That's
County.
such a great idea. I don't know why this is where my brain goes, but like I wanna this obviously would not work, but I wanna like strap a GoPro to my head and then go like sit in the trash can and get like picked up and dumped into the
Nope.
it's like, come with me on a ride to the to the Lee County Waste Management Facility.
As you were starting to say that, I I've jumped to like follow a teddy bear that's being
Yeah,
dumped in, and
that was
then
where it started. Yeah, I
yeah,
was like, I'm gonna
and
throw
then
a
and then
trash
you just
bag with
meet
a
it you in the
GoPro.
trash can.
Yeah, yeah, it's like cut out the middleman. It's like I'm going. Yeah, I was thinking like trash bag. My first, just like you build businesses in your head, we both do this, right? It's like
Mhm.
I film documentaries in my head. It's like as soon as I hear an interesting idea, I'm like opening shot sequence. And it'd be so cool to have like the POV, of the garbage being carried to the can and just dropped in with a camera shot, and then it gets dark. It transitions to whatever. Oh man, that would be a cool documentary. I'll pitch it to somebody. I'm sure somebody will pick it up.
Or have like different materials with googly eyes on them. So
Ugh,
like there's the paper, there's a cardboard box, there's the aluminum can, there's the plastic milk jug, and then there's like a banana peel with googly eyes. And then
mhm.
we see where each one of those guys ends up
Mm.
and what his little adventure
Yeah, and
is.
when they get there, it's like their eyes are scattered and cracked all over the conveyor belt, and the banana's like, "Yeah."
That's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
So then
Yeah.
you can have like the message. That
Mhm.
is the message. That is almost like the core of what you're going to build the rest of your education around. Now your social media posts are like answering questions about things you covered in that little documentary because you're going to get
Yeah.
questions, right? So then
Mhm.
you make additional videos and then you talk about that and then you make posts about that and then you bring some kids out and do some video of the kids looking, holding the little milk jug with the googly eyes on it, right? So now the kids know where that milk jug is going and what's
Mm,
happening with it, and
mm.
there's so much you could flesh out of that core piece of content that
There's
is
so
your main
many
messaging.
there's so many ideas there. Like I have you seen the awkward interview trend thing that's going on now on social media where it's like a really uncomfortably awkward interview with a celebrity, and like that's the comedy in it. They're like it's like the
There was that
interviewer.
singer who said she wasn't a musician. Did you see that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
"I don't do magic and stuff." And they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
"But you do music." She goes, "Yeah, I do music. That's a musician." You know what
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's one that I'm thinking of where it's like the interviewer and I don't know, like Drake or something. They were like sitting in a bed together, like both under the covers, just doing this interview. And it was the weirdest, most awkward thing ever. And I feel like that would be a fun just to go on another tangent, that would be a fun shot sequence in this documentary about garbage, where I'm sitting in the middle of in a garbage truck and like interviewing the garbage truck guy and the guy in the passenger seat, just like cramped in this garbage truck. That's another scene in this documentary. We're gonna do this. Somebody's gonna pay us for it.
I think it's a great idea. I
Okay.
love it. Yeah, so that's what I would do for that main bit of messaging, because I think the education is important, and it's something that we don't really want to think about, like it is, but bring it to the forefront and show us how you're actually helping things. So
Yep.
I just feel better. I feel better knowing that they're using the trash. Like, I literally feel some relief from this conversation. So I appreciate you helping me with that.
I'm here to help. That's what I'm here for. Educating people about garbage. That's me.
I have all this guilt. We do not produce a lot of trash. Like, we really, really don't. Sometimes it's usually just like one of those like regular tall kitchen things, one a week. I think that's pretty good. I know other people that fill it up. But
man,
I try really, really hard, but I
make so much garbage. I'm like single-handedly powering that facility. Like so much trash.
You're single-handedly like zeroing out all the extra work that we're doing to try
it's like, nice try, suckers. Yeah. No, I have compost
all of our waste and all that. And that's the area that, when I think about trash collection and the types of businesses that I've tried to create in my brain, that have anything to do with that, and that is compost collection. So I do like what Lee County does, and we could talk about it a little bit with picking up the green waste, right? So we don't have that up north. If you've got green waste, you've got to figure out something to do with it, or they will pick up the leaves like 2 or 3 times in the fall, and that's it. They're not picking up anything else. You've got to figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I think that is really great down here, because there is so much green, there's so much landscaping that they kind of have to do it. Otherwise, everybody's yard is going to look like crap. So they've got to create some sort of service for that. So the 2 things I've thought about is between picking up lawn waste and turning it into mulch / soil, and then straight up composting, with more like the kitchen scraps sort of thing. And in my perfect world, and this is actually illegal, you are not allowed to feed pigs that are going to be used for food. You can't feed them human food waste.
Sure.
They say for disease transfer, but I think it's the corporate man trying to keep us from being self-sufficient and feeding our food waste to another animal to produce additional food. I think that's the type of stuff I've been thinking about.
I would agree with that. And I think that the law applies if you're going to be selling those animals as food to other people. Yeah. It's like,
so if you're doing it for yourself, you can do it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at, if we're building out a trash company, then we're going to be raising more pigs than what's just going to feed my family. But then you're stopped, right? So if you could do this compost collection, there's nothing you can do with the animals that you're feeding it to. And so it's stopping that. Cycle. I like ecosystems and cycles and interconnected systems. And they're putting a stop to that part of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's the argument to be made of like growing, you use that compost to grow crops, and you can grow food crops for the animals and stuff. And like, it's like you can get kind of cyclical, but yes,
you can do.
The food waste feeding to pigs and other like agricultural livestock thing, I think it's ridiculous that we're not allowed to. And like the problems that arise from it, and we're off on like a way off tangent now, but like the problems that arise from it are more due to industrial agriculture, not the process of like feeding them the food scraps. It's like the food scraps that they're getting are from, industrial like peanut farms, where it's like all the shells from the, you know what I'm saying? It's like not like table scraps. It's like, the byproduct from creating seed oils, like from when they clean out all the machines. It's like that gunk that they're saying you can't really feed that to pigs that are fit and still have them be fit for human consumption. So that's why those regulations are there, as far as I understand it. But it shouldn't apply to like small kind of, not factory farming
Right.
organizations that are trying to feed their pigs table scraps. Like that's, it's silly. But
Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
Because we do it with
tangent.
whenever we have chickens, we feed it to the chickens. So that's the kind of stuff that I've imagined, and I've imagined like creating incentives, etc., for people to set out their food bucket scrap
Hmm.
and have a system for setting that up. That would be so inefficient to pick up one little, one bucket of food scraps for the week, and then it's getting stinky and all that. I
I
don't
think
know.
that
In my
really,
ideal world, I would love something like that with waste
yeah,
management.
you almost need that to be a, kind of like the White Oak Pastures farm place, where it's like, it's a whole other business in and of itself, where it's like a vertically integrated community farm slash butcher slash, green waste pickup slash, like they do the whole ecosystem thing there, and the community brings the compostable stuff to this farm because it's like the main hub of the community. You can do that in like a small isolated community, and that farm can then be the main food producer for that community. And you that's really the only way around the industrial agriculture kind of like factory farm thing, is like having those small kind of units to feed like a city, as opposed to, yeah. But tangents.
No, I think we're good though, because
Yeah.
every direction, it's really trying to flesh out every direction that we can go
Yep.
with
I like
with
green waste too, because you can turn it, like we've been saying, into compost, and that's like an additional source of revenue if you sell that to gardeners and larger farms and things. Like there's a lot of waste that is not actually waste. It's been
Mhm.
labeled waste, but really it's like very valuable if it's treated correctly. Like that place, I don't know if you've heard of White Oak Pastures, but it's fantastic. They even compost all of they're a whole animal butcher facility plus all the farms. So they raise the cows and the pigs and the chickens, and then they butcher them on site. And then they even compost all of the animal material, like bones and
Mhm.
viscera and stuff like that. And it's like, you can do that. It's a bit more industrial than like somebody with a compost pile at home can do. But
Yeah, I'm not going to put like the guts of a cow in my compost.
no, no. Yeah, I don't have anywhere to put 30 pounds of guts. Like I just don't have it. But that it's doable is my point. And
Right.
all the stuff that we consider waste has been labeled waste because it's not cost effective to deal with it at scale, like
Exactly.
those industrial operations have to deal with it. And it's like, it's just not the right way to do most things, right? And that's why another reason why I like smaller local businesses, because it brings things back to how um, it brings them back to how I feel a lot of things should be to maintain the level of quality that really people want and deserve, right? It's like you can focus and provide a better product if you're not serving the entire country or the entire world, generally speaking, for something like this. And you can have less of a negative impact on the environment as well if you're not doing things at scale.
We're
So,
going to do another episode on this,
yeah.
on specifically like I want to we need to have a conversation about like where we are as a country with industrial versus local, because I've been doing a lot of I used to do a lot of reading on it. Following this guy on TikTok now that talks a lot about city planning, and I
Yeah.
think super fascinating. And I've been thinking about even like island life, like the economy on an island, and how do you deal with waste, and how do you deal with food production and all of that when on an island. So we need to one of our episodes needs to be like, how do we have a self-sufficient island
Allie
of
and
like
Duncan buy an island. Yeah,
Allie and Duncan buy an island. I think definitely we need to do that in the future, because
sure.
I that's kind of where we're going here, and I want to go deeper, but we have to stay with our trash business
All
right
right,
now.
all right.
All right, fine. Um,
So we hit the education component. I think that's super important. It's like people don't even know where their trash goes. Like most people don't know, don't think about it, or they're incorrectly informed. And you can do a lot to change people's perception if you are good at marketing, which we are. So we're going to change everyone's perception of how that waste management system works. And we're going to show them why we are the ones doing it the right way. And Joe Blow down the street with his ugly garbage trucks is, maybe we don't have to be mean to Joe with his garbage trucks, but we're doing it better than anybody else. And you should go with us because
We'll buy Joe's business.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll afford Joe. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Joe
We're going to
Joe
get
will
big
be
enough.
Joe will be all right. Well, Joe will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one little point I wanted to make on the education side, that I talked about doing that little documentary. A lot of businesses are making personal connections one-on-one. We just talked about that on the Marketing Power Hour call the other day. I think we talked about that a little bit with Mark. So a lot of businesses are good at creating those one-on-one connections. So this lady is good at communicating and educating people about the waste management systems one-on-one or two small groups. The whole purpose of social media is to multiply yourself from talking to a small group and having to give the same presentation over and over and over again to talking to thousands of people all at the same time. And everything you do is reusable, rewatchable, rereadable. So even if you post something a year ago, if you speak to a group of people a year ago, yes, you'll have an impact that they'll remember things, but they can't go back and listen to your speech again. Like that was a one time you gave the speech. Now you have to give it again and again and again. But if you can record that speech and put it on social media and put it on YouTube, we can watch it again. If you can take bits and pieces of that speech and continue to post about it, then you are continuously spreading that message and you can attract new people to you all from the comfort of your office. And it makes you so much more efficient at what you're doing. I love in-person stuff. I love in-person stuff. And I'm not saying they should stop in person, but they should be sending people to their Facebook page because you come to me and you told me, okay, they do this, this, or that. I want more information. Can I go to their Facebook page and get more information? Can I even go to their website and get more information? Where if you saw it on Facebook and you thought, oh, that's something that I think Allie would like, you can tag me in it, you can share it. And then I am now in their world and in their universe. It's easy for you to share the excitement of what you've learned with other people versus in person. So that's what I want everybody to understand about, that one-on-one is really, really great. But you can only do, and especially as your business scales, you can only do so much of that. And that's where you've got to have social media do the work for you.
100%. Yeah. It's not scalable to do those one-on-ones, but it is a good place to test out your messaging. Like that's what I've been doing recently is like seeing how people react literally as I'm speaking to them about something that I'm doing or selling or working on. And it's a good way to get real time feedback on, whatever it is that you're doing. But then, you got to take that and broadcast it to a bigger audience because you'll have more impact. So
exactly. And I love face exactly for that same reason. It's good to gauge reactions, all of that. So I'm not saying don't do. I'm just saying you got to get beyond that. You've got to start communicating at a bigger level.
Yep. And I think too that like for a lot of local businesses, it's because I'm sitting here listening to us talk, and I think one of my initial reactions as a business owner might be, well, who has time for all of that? It's like, I got to go do in person. I got to do social media. I got to send out emails. I got to do blah, 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 blah. And like the biggest realization for me, and it's been like hitting me in the face for the past month of like how silly it was that I didn't do this already, is like leverage, right? It's like I am not the best at the in-person face-to-face thing. So I am currently leveraging someone else, their talent, their ability, and their frankly, like their belief in me. It's one of my friends. They're at a networking event right now handing out cards, and I just got like 3 notifications for people that signed up for a thing that I'm doing. And I'm like, this is so dumb that I waited this long to like take advantage of that. And it's not dumb, right? It's like you learn, you grow, and I'm doing the right things and taking steps in the right direction. But my point after all that rambling is that like you don't have to do it all yourself. It's like you just need to realize that it needs to get done. see the value in it and build a system for that allows that to happen, right? It's like that is working without me having to do anything right now. I'm on this call and I am getting potential customers in my business right now while we're sitting here talking. So don't get overwhelmed by all of it is my point. It's like there are ways to, just like you can leverage the things that you say, put them on social media out to a broader audience, you can leverage things to manage those in-person interactions as well. So
Absolutely. And that's
yeah.
why I also like repurposing, where I mentioned, like, if we recorded you speaking,
Yep.
now we can make short clips of that. We can publish the whole clip of that. We can run it through a transcriber, and we
Mm-hmm.
can make content from your quotes. We can run it through a tool like Cast Magic,
Mm-hmm.
and it can create additional different types of social media posts. So you can do a thing that then drives all the rest of the content. It's not all disconnected. You can connect those things together. So you're doing, I mean, right now, when I'm doing all my posts and my emails for the day, it's pretty much all the same stuff.
Yep.
It's just I'm doing it slightly different for Facebook than I'm doing it for TikTok, and slightly different for what I'm doing in the email, right? But it's
Yep.
pretty much the same thing I'm putting out there.
Yeah, and I think too that I think too that the there are things that you can leverage and chop up and reuse and repurpose that you might not even be thinking of as content. So recently, as marketing material, recently I've even been running my consultation calls differently. When I'm on the phone with somebody or on a Zoom call with somebody who's interested in marketing services, the way that I'm presenting what I'm talking about is now more of a making something for them while we're on the call. So they leave the call with some, like, an offer basically made. I help them create an offer on the phone and I say, here's what we need to do. Here's what you need to do. Your next 3 steps that you need to do if you want this to work. So they get, when we're done with the call, they're like, wow, that was incredible. And they feel empowered and they got some information, and I'm giving that to them for free. I'm also recording the call so that I can then use it and repurpose it as content. So even if they don't become a client of mine, I have more content of me being the expert at the thing that I'm trying to get other people to get me to do, right? And it's like there are so many opportunities for that. And even us marketing people don't always see all of them. So like they're there. You just got to keep your eyes peeled for them. Everything is content. Everything.
Everything is content. Everything is
Yep.
content.
Yep.
Right now, this is content.
What? This?
Right now.
I had no idea.
This right now. Okay, so email lists.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Email
definitely
it.
have an email. I mean, we definitely want to utilize our email list of customers, communicate with them. I think the emails that go out to the list need to be fun and engaging and maybe a little bit silly. I think maybe there's a character that sends the emails, like the milk jug. The milk jug sends sends the emails to remind them that there's a holiday and they won't be picking up till the next day,
Mhm.
or whatever it is,
Mm.
to be letting them know of different things that are happening. So
That's an interesting challenge. Like, what would make me want to open an email from my trash collection business? It's almost
yeah,
like,
I think if
um,
you knew, if there was a Mike McGroarty style writing there, and those of you guys who don't know Mike McGroarty, I was going to say he was on one of our Marketing Power Hour calls, but he is a really smart copywriter,
mhm,
really smart businessman, and he has taught people how to sell plants out of their backyard, so how to propagate and sell plants, and he's a good friend of mine. And he has a writing style where it's like, grab mama, jump in the car and head on down. We're going to have a hootin' good time, right? So he's just able to speak in a way, and especially in his copy, where it's so just down home and comfortable, and it sounds nothing like the polished copy that you think you're supposed to be reading. He's just being so raw and real and relaxed in the way he talks, where you feel like you know him, right? So I mean, there's kind of this psychological trick that if somebody speaks to you in a manner that you're already best friends, it can be a little bit weird. But if it's done correctly, then you feel like, are we best friends right now? Like, are how did this happen? Like,
Did
we're
we
best
just become best
friends.
friends? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and so if you had somebody, you could have a person from the office that writes like that. And they're
Mm.
writing stuff like, and Dan's looking over my shoulder right now, reading this email as I'm writing it. It really aggravates me when he does that, but he's just jealous that I get to talk to you guys and he doesn't.
Mm.
Stuff like that. Just silly stuff. Tales from the dumpster, like what weird things did they find in the dumpster? Like you could have a every Friday afternoon, they send out an email and all the trash collectors report the weirdest thing they found in dumpsters that week.
Tales from the dumpster. That's so good.
And you could have like snapshots, like they take pictures of the different dumpsters,
Mm.
but they don't identify the business or whose it's from. So nobody has to be embarrassed. But like they're taking snapshots of weird things that they're finding in the dumpsters.
Mm.
And then I would really highlight, I don't know how you get the first person to do this. You got to do it as a plant, right? But like little kids leaving the trash guy a note,
Mm.
and then like you take pictures of the note or do a video of the note and you open it up and you read it, and then now all the other kids are going to want to leave the trash man a note, and
Mm.
maybe like the trash man becomes like Santa where there's like milking cookies, but instead of milking cookies it's something else, and it's just some way to acknowledge that the trash man is coming, and so you're setting something out for the
That's
trash
so
man.
funny. It's so funny that oftentimes both of our trains of thought like head the same direction. I was like, how do you leave like something for the trash guy to eat? And it's like you can't set it on top of the trash can. Like
No, you
where do
can't.
you put it?
There's got to be something. There's got to be something that you can leave, and then it becomes like a thing. That's the thing. Like
Mm.
maybe it's suckers, right? You leave suckers for the trash man,
It
and
would
so
be funny too to like if it was like, the start of it was like a video like, "Hey, it was really sweet for you to leave a plate of cookies for us, but if you could not put them on the trash next time, that would be great," you know? And like there's a way to get that trend started
there's
somehow.
got to
Yeah.
be something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can share the things because that's got to be interesting. It's got to be interesting the things that you're seeing. I bet they tell each other stories all the time of like, you know what we found today. So like that could be on Friday, and
It's
then
got like a Humans of New York vibe to it, like Tales from the
yes, yes,
Dumpster. Yeah.
from the dumpster.
It was a
Uh,
hot Friday in July and I found one mannequin leg
and
chewed up
maybe
by a
you tell
dog.
a story of where you think it came
Yeah.
from, or
Yeah.
what its history was, or you find
Mhm.
like a new couch for the employee area. Like we got
Yeah. Can you
got
believe
this
somebody
couch
threw this whole
today.
couch away? Yeah. That's
um,
great.
so I think that would be a lot of fun. And then building an email list. What could we give away? I love giveaways. What can a trash company give away? Like
Yeah.
obviously you can give away things like um, gift certificates to local restaurants. Like that's always something we can do. But what could a trash company give
Can we
away?
just rewind for a second and go back to your local restaurant gift cards thing? I think that's boring and you can do better, Allie.
I think that's why I said, yeah, of course we could do that.
I just wanted an opportunity to say you're boring because you've said that to me twice this week already. Twice. Boring. You could
You
do
goaded
better.
me into it both times, though. I was
All
not
right, all right.
like,
That's
well,
fair.
one.
That's fair.
The other
Let's
time you
give
were like,
away okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The boss of this company is gonna be have you ever seen anything about Bang Energy Drink? How the CEO is like a crazy guy and he has like he's like 60 plus year old guy that wears like muscle shirts and has spiked hair like Guy Fieri and like just like runs around drinking. It's like the CEO you would expect the CEO of Bang Energy to be, just like this crazy guy. And I want to have the CEO of this company be a little bit crazy like that, and he's gonna drive some really fancy sports car, and he's going to build up this profile of being this kind of crazy, cool, fun guy. And we're going to give away his sports car. That's what we're going to give away. What do you think about that idea?
we could give away his sports car. However, when you were saying that, I have a more fun idea.
Okay, hit me.
Restaurant gift card.
Ugh.
However,
All right.
you will be chauffeured to and from the restaurant in the for show trash truck.
I'm not mad at it.
So you get up in the trash truck, you and your date get up in the trash truck, and they will deliver you to the restaurant. And then you do your thing at the restaurant, and then they pick you up and they take you home, and you can film the whole thing. Dichotomy, right? Instead of a limo, we're going to give you a ride in a trash truck.
I like it. I think
Maybe
that
we give it away for prom.
I'm gonna. That's what I was thinking. So I'm gonna yes and you. Yes and why don't you do it like, how there's the prom queen or the queen of the parade that year sits on the float and does the wavy wave thing. I feel like you should do that and like give away whatever that position is at the local parade. Like, do you want to be the queen of our float? And it can be open to guys and girls, because how funny would it be if there was a guy in a dress and a tiara on the trash truck? Like, oh, I think that would be good.
Queen, and it could be whoever wins gets to bring somebody else with them.
Yes.
And together you are the king and queen, or the king and the king and the queen, whatever you want to do.
Yep,
But you there's a dual position, and the person that wins, them and their friend, significant other, kid, etc., gets to be
the garbage king and queen. Yep.
the garbage king and queen.
I love that. Yep.
I love that too. I want them to submit an essay for that, though. I want like an essay.
Tell me a story about why you should be the garbage king and queen.
Why should you be the garbage king and queen?
I love that. And we'll share the stories on social. And yeah, that's a great idea. Yep.
I think that truck needs to be like the kind of like
the pumpkin from Cinderella. The
well, it's like the we talked about this with like truck nuts and like that hillbilly. What did you call that? The hillbilly Riviera or something like that, or the
redneck yacht club.
Redneck yacht club. Yeah. So like the dump truck kind of needs to be like a redneck yacht club sort of thing.
Yeah.
That me and the lady, we're gonna take the dump truck to go out to the Olive Garden. You know?
Poor Olive Garden. What did they ever do to you? That's where I would take my dump truck if I had
or
it.
the greasy spoon.
There you go. Yeah. No, I like that. I like it, and I feel like it should be a like a tradition too, like a small town famous tradition where every year it's like the garbage king and queen, and they have like an outfit that they wear, and they got like rubber gloves up to here instead of like the white. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like there's a whole thing, and instead of a wand, there's got to be like I don't know. There's like some sort of trash themed outfit that they have to wear. I think this is a great idea.
I think we can definitely make a dress out of trash bags.
Yes.
For sure. I don't know like tux wise what we're gonna do tux wise. I'm sure you could do that out of trash bags too.
Well, no, you do one of it's like a tuxedo, but it's a cutoff. So you like take the sleeves off, and then instead of a pocket square, it's a banana peel, like a banana peel sticking out.
They have to wear the overalls.
Yes.
We'll make us a pair of the overalls with that look like a little bit fancier.
Yep.
But you have to have like the banana smears and stuff like that on it. Like it's gotta be dirty overalls.
If you're gonna be the king of garbage, like you gotta have some garbage on you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Some grease stains. All right.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun. And I can even see like a mayor wanting to be involved in that, and because they're the city councilmen, like they would just love to do something.
They would eat that up. Yep.
Oh, I think that's great.
Fantastic.
There's so much fun that could be done with this boring business.
Mm-hmm.
I think you lied. I think this is not a boring business. I think this is a fun business in its core.
I agree. I kind of cheated on this one, and like I heard it on that podcast, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like fun." So it really didn't start out even as a boring business. It started out as fun, but I think traditionally it's boring. I think
most people would think it's boring because everybody's approached it boring.
Correct.
So what were the ideas that you had heard? Did we cover those? Did we talk about the ideas that you had heard?
So this is why I think you would like this other podcast, not to promote other shows on our own show, but they had some of these ideas. They're marketers, right? They're internet marketers. They had like chunky mail ideas. They had, put googly eyes on the front of the garbage truck, so every time it like goes over a bump, the eyes are like, yeah.
Oh, that's
They had
fantastic. Yep.
yeah, they had a lot of very similar themed ideas to us that they just didn't like delve deep like we have so far. On that episode, they did a few of those kind of interesting businesses, and they cover other people doing interesting businesses that are happening right now, and that was
Right.
one of them. So, but yeah, I think we ticked pretty much all the boxes and went even further. Like we went into the education, we went into list building. They
I
did
got
talk.
one more.
Yeah, hit me.
One more. The waste management facility. So if the trucks are going to look fun phone went off. If the trucks are going to look fun and engaging, and the employees there are going to be engaging, there's got to be something with the facility as well. So with the facility itself, I would have like some. I'm imagining like a huge sunflower mural across the building, so that it's not an ugly blight in the landscape, but it looks beautiful from the if you're seeing it from the road, or if you're driving up, you see beauty instead of, it's just a waste management system.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to do have kids come out and see it, we need to include that monster theme with, the conveyor belts going up and it's going into a chute. Well, there should be teeth around that chute, and there should be
Mhm.
like a monster built around that, and make it almost like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Like,
Yep.
make it really cool and fun, and have like a I'd have like a whole corner where it's just like all the stuffed animals go into that corner or something like that. Or we take the stuffed animals, and you can have like a, what is it, like a diorama or something like that, where you just have like a set that you have different stuffed animals doing different things, and
Yeah.
maybe they're collecting trash. Maybe the little stuffed animals
Yeah.
are collecting trash, and you can switch them out from time to time and add new little bits and pieces to it.
Yeah, it's like the diorama of broken dreams or something. Like here's where all the stuffed animals come to die. Like
Well, we all saw Toy Story, what, 3, 4,
yeah,
whichever one it was, like
yeah.
Woody and them going down the chute. My nephews cried.
Well,
Like
yeah, that's
even
traumatic.
when they were older, they were like full on tears that they were all holding hands and getting ready to be destroyed.
Hmm.
So maybe have like a Woody, and like show the kids they made it, like have
Hmm.
them sitting there on a shelf somewhere,
Yeah.
that they're safe. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of things you can do within the facility and the plant
No,
itself.
I'm on board. Yeah, and like I remember very pretty viscerally going to that place when I was young. We were pretty young, and it just felt like it felt like you seeing the guy picking up trash in front of you guys. Like the whole place had that vibe. It's like, oh, it's just kind of like nobody really wants to be here. It kind of smells. It's kind of sad. It's like cool to see how it works, but
Mhm.
it was just bad vibes. Like I don't know a better way to
Need
describe
better
it.
light.
Yeah, yeah, it needs some like good lighting or maybe a little bit of music. I don't know. It needs something. It needs some
Yeah.
production.
Whoop.
But it's like the opposite of being able to put a pin in it. It's like
Mhm.
I don't want my pins to be anywhere near that place. Like I don't, So yeah, definitely making it more fun, making the place a little bit of a show in and of itself that people would want to come tour, I think is a
Yeah.
good idea because it is interesting, right? It's like the tour kind of felt like an afterthought when I went, but if it was a place that was set up to be toured, almost like a trash museum or something like that, like a
I love a trash museum. I think that would be great. And
yeah,
and
and you
then
can have like a hall of
it,
fame, like the coolest stuff we found in the
yeah.
trash. You can have your stuffed animal row place where that's a little for whatever reason that is like it makes me sad thinking about it, like all the
The toys.
discarded stuffed animals, but I think it's a good idea.
Oh my gosh, you know what this trash place could really do a good job of?
Mm,
They could have their own haunted house experience.
mm,
Like you get the spooky old toys, and you get like the baby cribs and the
mm,
and the high
yeah,
chairs that are all banged up and
yeah.
destroyed.
There's an
Like I
incinerator running somewhere ominously in the
Yeah.
background. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like there's something you could do with lighting and whatever. You
Mhm.
shut the whole place down for 3 days,
Yeah.
and have a crew in there and decorate it up and
Mm,
have people go pay to go through
yep.
the haunted waste management system. But it feels like it's a place that would be haunted, right? It feels like it
Hmm.
could be a spooky
Somebody
place.
comes out dressed as the math homework you accidentally threw away. Like, oh no, God. Yeah.
I mean, that would be funny too, is just
Yeah.
like pick a random piece of trash out and display it like, here's Jimmy's math homework.
Yeah. Here lies Jimmy's future college hopes and dreams.
It's so good. It's
Yeah,
so good.
that's
I
so
There's
good.
so much that could be done with that. I love it. And if you take
I
the Willy Wonka approach and
Yeah.
just be like over the top and fun, then there's your social media content. Again, people are like, I don't know what to say on social media. Then be better.
Yeah.
Like be more
Be
interesting.
good.
Be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you need to be worthy of being, like, spoken about, right? It's like live
Yes.
a life that's interesting that people would wanna know about, and if not, then you should maybe spice it up a little bit, like, do
Yep.
something more fun. Um,
Now, if you're
yeah,
boring, be less boring.
yeah,
Don't do
be less boring.
yeah, just just be better.
I feel like
Um,
this whole episode's been pretty harsh, like, just don't be garbage, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
don't be garbage and we won't treat you like garbage. No, I think that's the key to it. And it's not that it's difficult to it's not that it's the question is not how do we market a boring business? The
Mm,
question is how do we take a boring business and turn it fun and interesting and engaging so that the marketing then is easy.
yeah.
I like easy marketing. I don't like difficult marketing.
Mm,
And choices that you make hopefully at the beginning, but you can make those changes later on if you need to. But if you approach starting a business with how do I make the most outrageous, extraordinary, interesting type of business where people are going to talk about me and get excited about our product and service, then the marketing's built in, the marketing comes easy. Then it's just a matter of you got to take the pictures, right? But it's not like how do I make an interesting picture out of a boring product? It's you
mm,
haven't now have an interesting product. Now
yeah,
you just have to take the actions to do the marketing.
yeah,
Um, but then a lot of that's going to be done for you because people are going to take a picture of the truck and they're going to videotape the guy. Like if you had a trash company like that, you'd be viral across the nation.
yep,
They would have their own TikTok channel. Everybody in the country. So I'm thinking like little old Sandusky. If I start this kind of business in Sandusky, it's not local famous, it's worldwide famous.
mhm,
And everybody is going to be interested in this. And this is bringing people to our town. It's getting like, there's so many advantages to that I mean, it's silly not to. They could do merch. We could do merch with like the most popular. We could do merch with the trucks on it, so different T-shirts with the different designs from the different trucks.
yep,
We could have the most popular dancing garbage men like do their own videos on TikTok and answer questions about them. Like are you single and that kind of stuff. Like we could do a matchmaking dating game with the guys from the garbage guys that like all the ladies are interested in, so you can make a little
yep.
game show out of it.
You gotta
Like
have your calendar, your hot garbage guy calendar where they're posing
yes, yes,
shirtless in front of
yes.
the trucks. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Holding
Yep.
their favorite piece of garbage. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. This could become a national holding their favorite piece of garbage. That could go awry. I like it. Um, so yeah, no, I think this is a winner all around. I think we should start this business. I
I'm
think
in.
it's I think it's a no-brainer.
You
We
know
always say
me.
it's so easy. I know it takes work, but like
Mm,
it's such a clear path where you
yep,
can see the obvious returns you would get from that.
yep. You could see the success pretty clearly.
Yep.
And you know me, it's like I'm in. I'm down to start a business as long as you're there. Like let's do it. Whatever business you want to start. So
So good.
I think we thoroughly covered this business. Do you? I have some last words. I want to go first, and then I'm going to ask you if you have any last
And
words.
then I'm going to ask you if you have any last
That's
words.
fine. Yeah, we'll get into an infinite loop. So thank you guys for watching, listening. If you're on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you like this content and you want more from us, you can go join our free Facebook group. We will talk to you on there. You can post stuff about your business. You can post questions, and we literally will hop on that post and comment back to you, talk to you, give you feedback on it. Yeah, and I thought that was great. Do you have any last words, Allie?
Yeah, I would like to tell everybody that the name of the group is Marketing Ping Pong, just in
Oh, I
case.
didn't say the name. This is why you do the intro and outro. I can't be trusted to do these
So there's a
things.
Marketing Ping Pong Facebook page and a Marketing Ping Pong Facebook group. You
Yep.
definitely go ahead and follow the page, but we're most active in the group. So go check out that group. I would say my final words are just be better. Like be more interesting, just build your marketing into the business.
Yep.
You don't have to be boring. You don't have to look like everybody else. You don't have to be quote unquote professional.
Yep.
You need to be memorable. You need
Yep.
to be extraordinary. You need to be outrageous. You need to be somebody is going to, other people are going to talk about. So that's what I want to leave people with. I think that's the biggest lesson from this
Yep.
is of all the podcasts that we've done, it's all about really being outrageous and being memorable and making your marketing easier.
Yep. Hashtag get good.
Hashtag get good. Any last words, Duncan?
Yes. Woo! That was it. That's all I got.
Anyhow.
All right. Bye, Allie.
I could have predicted that. All right. Thanks, Duncan.
Bye.
Bye.